Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Susan every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Third Civil Military Operations Company and Local Amnesty Board orient 86 former rebels in Sorsogon. 36 IB recovers 3 high-powered firearms in Surigao del Sur. 20 ex-DPWH executives and contractors face graft props. DOH says drunk drivers excluded from zero balance billing policy.
Hello to everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Ginaldo in Quezon City. Today is Friday, September 12, and this is AFP Community News, your source for the updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. I am Rob Susan Abay here to bring you today's stories.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The 3rd Civil Military Operations Company facilitated the local amnesty board orientation for 86 former rebels at Camp Licerio Lapus, Sorsogon. The program, led by LAB Bicol with support from the 903rd Infantry Brigade, aims to reintegrate ex-insurgents and restore their civil and political rights. LAB Secretariat Head Philip Listanco said the initiative gives former rebels a second chance to live peacefully with their families and communities. The Army reaffirmed its full support, stressing its commitment to reconciliation, unity, and nation building.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Troops of the 36th Infantry Battalion and 901st Infantry Brigade recovered firearms in Barangay Hinapuyan, Carmen, Surigao del Sur. The 2 M16 rifles and an AK-47 were found after 2 former Communist terrorist group members, alias Rem and Jello, revealed their location upon surrender. 36th IB Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Joselito Ante Jr. urged the remaining CTG members to lay down their arms and reunite with their families. Troops assured the surrenderers are entitled to firearms remuneration under Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program to help them reintegrate into society.
Armed Forces Radio.
Some information from Shira about MBLT-9 aids fishermen stranded in West Philippine Sea.
Rescued 6 Filipino fishermen who sought refuge at their station in the West Philippine Sea yesterday. The fishermen aboard small boats were forced to dock due to rough seas and their distance from their mothership. Marines provided food, water, medicines, fuel, and temporary shelter to ensure their safety. The assistance reflects the Marines' commitment to protect both Philippine territory and the welfare of coastal communities. This is Shira Rivera reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Shira.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The 106th Infantry Battalion and the local government of Naga led a grand pulong-pulong and serbisyo caravan in Barangay Mamagon, Naga, Zamboanga, Sibugay yesterday. The event, once held in a community influenced by radicalism, offered services on livelihood, housing, education, and health. Relatedly, 102nd Infantry Brigade Acting Brigade Commander Colonel Samuel Yunque described the activity as a symbol of transformation, healing, and hope. The program reinforced the government's commitment to peace and community upliftment through strong partnerships with local and national agencies.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Major General Gulliver Señeres, the commander of the 5th Infantry Division, said the Philippine Army is shifting focus from counterinsurgency to external defense as part of the Armed Forces of the Philippines Modernization Program. He clarified that this move is not in response to a specific foreign threat, but follows the successful dismantling of CPP, NPA, NDF guerrilla fronts with internal security tasks gradually transitioning to the Philippine National Police. Major General Señeres assured that the AFP remains capable of defending the country against any threat, including the China's actions in the West Philippine Sea. He added that the Army will maintain strategic deployments in northern Luzon and the Cordillera region to safeguard key areas. And now from NOLCO, let's hear some information or more information from Joanne about 5th ID Commander allays fears over Army's shift to external defense.
Major General Gulliver Señeres, commander of the Philippine Army's 5th Infantry Division, clarified that the move to shift the Army's focus from counterinsurgency to external defense is in line with the modernization program and not in preparation to fight foreign aggressors. Señeres said the armed forces of the Philippines has been preoccupied with countering the CBP, NPA, and DF insurgents for decades, but with the successful dismantling of the movement's guerrilla fronts, it is now gearing up to hand over internal security operations to the Philippine National Police. Señeres allayed speculation that the shift was brought about by possible invasion by China. Nevertheless, he expressed confidence in the Army's capability to defend the countries against any foreign invaders. The official also assured stakeholders that this impending shift will not mean they will be leaving their posts in the Cordillera region. The 5th ID covers the Isabela, Cagayan Valley, and the Cordillera Administrative Region. This is John Sagak reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Juan from NOLCO.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Army Chief Lieutenant General Antonio Navarrete visited the Batanes-based reserve forces in Basco to boost their morale as they safeguard the country's northernmost territory. He pledged to integrate the reservists into the total force by enhancing their training to match regular troops. Lieutenant General Navarrete also vowed full Army support to the comprehensive archipelagic defense operations. The move highlights the Army's role as a primary force provider to the AFP's unified commands.
DWDD National News.
For our national news, Palace issued Executive Order 94 creating the Independent Commission on Infrastructure or ICI that will investigate anomalous government projects within 10 years. EO 94 was issued amid reports and allegations of irregularities, misuse of funds, and possible corruption in government flood control and related projects. The commission is authorized to conduct hearings, take testimony, and receive or gather or review and also evaluate evidence, reports, and information on cases it is investigating. It will also have the power to issue subpoenas for witnesses and documents and recommend to the Department of Justice the admission of a person as a state witness.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more updates from Mike about 12 CMO Battalion joins nationwide earthquake drill.
The 12th Civil Military Operations Battalion participated in the third quarter nationwide simultaneous earthquake drill led by the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council yesterday. The battalion conducted a loudspeaker operation to disseminate safety information and guide the public during the drill. It aims to enhance readiness and community awareness in times of earthquakes. Meanwhile, the Armed Forces of the Philippines throughout a National Capital Region Command spearheaded the ceremonial pressing of the button and a casualty evacuation drill at Camp Aguinaldo's Lapu-Lapu Grandstand in Quezon City. This is Mike reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mike.
DWDD National News.
Senator Ping Lacson warned against any cover-up in ongoing investigations related to flood control projects because this would further ignite the public fury. Lacson said the government should do everything to prevent any cover-up. He said nothing can appease the people, especially this time, because it has become a vicious cycle and the public are getting inspired by what is happening in other countries. Lacson was referring to massive and violent protests in Indonesia, Nepal, and France against alleged corrupt and inept government officials.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Public Works and Highways, represented by its Secretary Vince Dizon, filed a criminal complaint against 20 former DPWH officials in Bulacan and several private contractors. This in connection with alleged ghost or substandard flood control projects in the province. In a 35-page complaint, Dizon urged the Ombudsman to investigate 20 former officials of the DPWH 1st District Engineering Office in Bulacan and 5 private contractors, including Sara Diskaya, for violation of Republic Act 3019 or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, as well as malversation of public funds through falsification of public documents under the revised penal code and violation of RA 9184 or the Government Procurement Reform Act.
Armed Forces Radio.
From our report on the ground, it is here the report of AMI about MBLT 8 launches school cleanup drive ahead of 75th PMC anniversary.
The 58th Marine Company, Marine Battalion Landing Team 8 led a cleanup and beautification drive at Gabo Elementary School in Lawag City, Ilocos Norte. Marines worked alongside teachers, students, and residents to clean classrooms, repaint facilities, and restore the school environment. The activity showcased the Marines' commitment to community service, discipline, and responsibility beyond their military duties. The event also highlighted the Marines' dedication to nation building and inspiring the next generation ahead of the 75th Philippine Marine Corps anniversary on November 7, 2025. This is Ami reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Ami.
DWDD. National News.
For other national news, police will observe maximum tolerance in handling rallies. Interior and Local Government Secretary John Vic Remulla said all contingencies have been considered. He said authorities understand that the public has grievances and that the government would uphold constitutional rights, including the freedom to assemble, as long as protesters secure permits. On reports of a planned rally tomorrow, September 13, the birthday of President Marcos, Remulla downplayed the date but said the government is taking the matter seriously.
DWDD. National News.
More than 10 employees of the Bureau of Customs categorized as persons of interest have been issued show-cause orders. They are asked to explain why they should not be held liable for the questionable importation of at least 15 luxury cars owned by contractors Cesara Rowena and Pacifico Diskaya II. Customs Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno said the officials and employees' signatures appeared on documents related to the importation of the questioned luxury cars. Nepomuceno did not name names pending the results of an investigation, even as he vowed to throw the book at them if they proved to be accessories to the crime of smuggling.
Armed Forces Radio.
More of this from Jimboy. 31st IV joins Peace and Order Council to bolster security cooperations in Buhi, Camarines Sur.
Representative of the 31st Infantry Battalion joined the Municipal Peace and Order Council meeting in Buhi, Camarines Sur yesterday. The Philippine National Police Bureau of Fire Protection, local government official, and community sectors also participated in the discussion on peace, security, and public safety. The 31st IB reaffirmed its full support and collaboration with the local government unit and other law enforcement agencies to safeguard residents. The meeting highlighted strong government, security, and community cooperation toward more peaceful and progressive Camarines Sur. This is Jimboy reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jimboy.
DWDD. National News.
On the other hand, victims of road crashes who engage in drunk driving will not be covered by the government's zero balance billing policy. Department of Health Secretary Ted Herbosa said the motorists who are injured while violating traffic rules, such as drunk driving and using phones while driving, would not benefit from the program. He added that zero balance billing policy is only for patients who did not violate any laws. The DOH chief then reminded motorists to be responsible and always follow traffic laws.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development is strengthening its safeguards against human trafficking by issuing travel permits to minors traveling abroad. They also establish help desks in international airports to ensure their protection. DSWD Assistant Secretary Ada Colico said that help desks are now in place to address the concerns of children traveling overseas, either alone or with companions other than their parents. In February, the DSWD introduced its online MTA system that digitized the entire process from filing applications to the release of the travel permit.
Armed Forces Radio.
And on the other line, let's hear more from Ken about AFP Acting Chief welcomes ORF America's Senior Fellow.
Armed Forces of the Philippines Acting Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Jimmy Lareda welcomed Ms. Lindsay Ford, Senior Fellow at ORF America, in a courtesy call at General Headquarters Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City yesterday. Lieutenant General Lareda thanked ORF America for fostering dialogue and partnership in defense and security. The meeting highlighted continued engagement between the Philippines and international policy institutions to strengthen defense diplomacy. The AFP reaffirmed its commitment building constructive dialogues with global partners in support of its mission to protect the nation and uphold the rule of law. This is Ken reporting for AFP Community News, 1AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Ken.
DWDD National News.
For other national news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. signed into law a measure establishing the National Aviation Academy of the Philippines as the country's leading institution for higher education and training in aviation and aerospace. The Republic Act 12255, renaming the existing Philippine State College of Aeronautics to the NAAP, shall specialize in aviation and aviation-related programs. Under the law, the NAAP will be recognized as the National Professional Institution for Aviation. They are mandated to develop globally competitive professionals and supply technical manpower to key sectors, including the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Philippine National Police, and the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines.
DWDD National
The
News.
Commission on Higher Education sought a higher budget than the allotted 33.9 billion pesos under the National Expenditure Program for 2026. The request was made even as the proposed budget for next year, presented before the Committee on Appropriations of the House of Representatives, was already higher compared to the 31 billion pesos for 2025. CHED Chairperson Shirley Agrupis presented the agency's accomplishments last year as she sought a total of 15 billion to subsidize tertiary education in particular. The CHED chief said there was also a need to address inadequate infrastructure such as dormitories or classrooms.
DWDD National News.
A minor phreatic eruption occurred over Taal volcano in Batangas province. FIVOX Director Teresito Bacolcol said the mild explosion, which happened at around 4:33 p.m. yesterday, lasted for 2 minutes as its 300-meter high white plume drifted northeast. Phreatic eruption happens when water comes into contact with hot volcanic materials, producing steam, ash, and sometimes fragmented volcanic materials. Currently, Taal is under alert level 1, which means that it is still in a state of unrest and the threat of eruption remains.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And that concludes today's broadcast, and thank you for tuning in, especially to our audience on AFP Radio, the WWD's Facebook page. Be sure to join and catch us again next week for more stories and updates, same time and same station. Once again, this is Rob Susan Abay for AFP Community News, 1AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga